Yeah, let's go. Got a portable blurb here. I guess I'm just in a Sony mood, specifically a PSP mood. And, well, a PSP Go in particular, because I had this out recently, just kind of as a prop. I've had this for a while. Wonderful little system. But I was actually wanting to play some stuff on it more than I have on here, which isn't much. And in order to do that, because of the way everything's all shut down in terms of the PlayStation Network and not having UMD, I'm like, I just need to mod it. And that's fine. I've modded PSPs before, put custom firmware on a bunch of them and all that kind of stuff. Even back in the day when you needed like a different battery or whatever, I did that. But this, I was like, oh yeah, it should be really easy to mod, and then I'll just stick an SD card in there, and it's like, ah, crap. This uses that M2 thing. And like, I didn't realize that that was its own different proprietary thing. It's a memory stick deal, but unlike the PSP, for example, you can just get like a memory stick to whatever adapter, I think MicroSD, something like that. Now, like these things, they're all over the place, right? Well, because of M2 here being Sony's thing, it is actually a different size and is smaller, I think, than MicroSD. So you can't just easily get an adapter for that. And so it's like, ah, crap. Well, what do I do if I want more space? And I was looking it up, and you got to get like a solution for that. And so I've done that. But yeah, just, I guess to preface this, because I feel like talking about it, the reason I have this out is because I realized how much I really enjoy this whole sliding form factor and like the compactness and the lightweightness and the fact that it's just so pocketable and small and wonderful, and like playing PS1 and PSP games and other emulators and things when you get custom firmware is just highly satisfying on here. And because it's so thin and lightweight and all that, and doesn't have like the double stacked shoulder buttons, and so here's the thing. It's because of this monstrosity, this Ambernick RG slide thing I did a video about on LGR. And you know, I love the idea of a sliding open kind of console like this, but these double stacked things, the things you have to do contortion wise, it makes everything hurt. I do not like using this. I haven't used this since making that video. It's also so heavy, and the top tends to want to do this. This right here weighs as much, if not a little bit more, than a full Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Cons attached. It is around 400 grams, 14 ounces. It isn't pocketable really. It's heavy and uncomfortable because of the way you have to like contort around and just, I don't like using it, but I like the sliding mechanism. So I was like, yeah, we get back to the PSP, dang it. PSP Go, this is so cool, but I need to mod it, need an SD card. And that led me to this here from Genius Game Mods. I'm sure there's others doing it too, but this one seemed to be pretty well recommended for the PSP Go. And that is a microSD to, I guess, M2 interface, but the way that it's made, you have to go inside and put this in there. Okay, comes with some little bits of tape, some Captain tape. Guess that'll be holding things in place in there. But yeah, PSP Go microSD card adapter. And the way that this works is this is gonna just sit inside of the system, and that's just, I think, plugs into and like folds over or something into that little slot, but internally. So unfortunately, this does mean that I'm not going to be able to just like swap out cards anytime I want, and I'll have to take off the back in order to do that. But I don't really need to. I'm just going to put a card in there and fill it up with all the stuff I want to play, and then just leave it in place. And it's just a few screws here, right? So it shouldn't be that big a deal. There are other solutions I now know where it like actually converts this to microSD, and then you can just insert that in there. I didn't know about that until I'd already gotten this one. So there are other solutions. I'm not saying this is the best. I haven't even used it yet, but I bought it and thought, just do a video about it, because why not? So I think we're ready to go here. We're ready to PSP Go. Let me get the 70s towel going. Get that turned off. I probably want to do some other things to this in the future. Like, it's got this kind of just junk on the inside of the screen. I think it just needs to be taken apart and cleaned, but it's also just not the best externally. I don't know. This one's rough. I got it really cheap some time ago. Anyway, let's get this going. Probably this. They seem like pretty tiny little... Nice. Okay. I'll just come off of there. Never taken one of these apart. If those top screws need to come off. Feels like they might. Yeah, okay. That figures. Oh, well, that's way easier. There we go. Okay. So yeah, the other thing I think you have to do, unfortunately, is clip these little plastic bits off because it's going to sit, I think, like right here. So from what I was seeing on the, just look it up really quick. Oh yeah, this thing was only 12 bucks, by the way. So considering like the M2 cards, I mean, they max out at like 16 gigs. And I think that was like $60 for one of those. This will take you up to 128 gigs. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it seemed like a really good deal. So it does say to clip off those little plasticky bits. Put it in there, you plug it in, you bend it, you tape it in place. That's it. Okay, well, cool. So I don't actually have my little things. Thankfully, they are really thin. So let me get the card real quick. I'm just going to use a 64 gig card because I've heard that 128 takes a fair bit of time to boot up because it has to go through and like figure out what's on the card every time you start the thing. And I don't know. 64 is more than enough for what I want to do. I'm assuming we can just format it once it's in there. All right, so this is just gonna go. Yeah, okay. Interesting. It's kind of cool though. It's nice that it comes with the tape. What a neat little kit. Okay. Well, that's that. It's pretty flush. It looks like it might add a tiny bit of thickness. You can see why you'd have to take the plastic off. In fact, I wonder if that little bit needs to come off too. Yeah, seems all right. It's going to turn on really quick to see if we're good in terms of the format. Cannot be read. Yeah, format. Yes, as long as I can do it through here, we are good. Nice. Haha. Well, I'm assuming we're... Oh, yeah, there we go. 58 gigs. Dude, heck yeah. Also, why the crap did I put the tape on the part that covers up the memory card? Because I got to take that back right out of there to put the stuff on it. LOL. All right, well, a few hours later. And, you know, I'm also thinking it'd be nice to just go ahead and replace the battery. So I went ahead and ordered another one of these. But yeah, in terms of what I did with it, I just made sure that, well, everything was good to go in terms of the custom firmware and all that. And thankfully, it was very, very easy with something that I didn't even know was a thing. I was looking up to see like what made sense these days. And it was my understanding that this thing, the PSP Go, could only work with like a temporary firmware. So like something you'd have to open up every single time you started the system from power off. Apparently that has changed and I'm happy to see it. So there is a slight bulge. It's not too bad. We're not talking Labyrinth David Bowie levels or anything, but yeah, that's not the best. But it is working think it's called Arc 4. And yeah, it does take a moment to load up with this memory card in here. And again, this is only 64 gigs. If you had 128 gigs, I guess that would take even longer. But yeah, Arc 4. So that's just, it's something that loads up every single time. Yeah, so I had 6.60 on here. Didn't see any need to go to 661, so I didn't. And yeah, Arc 4 with CIPL. And that's that. So yeah, the video that I used was very handy from Mr. Mario 2011. Yeah, he just went all through this and showed the whole process. Anyway, it turned out to be really easy, and we've got all kinds of additional things in here that I didn't even know this kind of stuff was doable on PSP. And yeah, like, it's been a long time since I've messed with PSP stuff at all in terms of these kind of things. Custom launchers and themes and all kinds of settings and just stuff. So much stuff. But yeah, the memory stick area, check this out. And yes, I have filled it all up. I was wrong. I need much more space. Yeah, lots of PS1 games converted over to e-boot format. A lot of favorites in there, and also lots of PSP stuff as well. So yeah, all ready to go. And all stuff that I actually do have in my collection in terms of physical, all in storage, unfortunately. But yeah, we're just going through my list of games and being like, dude, there's a bunch of these I forgot about and haven't played in forever, and been wanting to enjoy a little bit of, again, especially games like this, where I haven't been able to emulate them extremely well on other little handhelds that I have. Like the RG Slide or the RG35XXH here, which is kind of my preferred little thingy these days. Like, this actually does a surprising amount of things, and PSP games as well. Definitely not at full speed most of the time. See how we get 100% full speed here, but of course it's just a cutscene. When you get into the game, it's a whole nother story, and yeah, it's the same with a whole bunch of different PSP games, unfortunately, with all of these little retro handhelds that I've used. I'm sure there are some that run this and other games like it at full speed, but yeah, you can see we're dropping down into the teens in terms of the frame rate, and it's just slower overall, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not great. Completely not playable. And it's the same on the RG Slide. You know, I have to go up to like a more powerful PC kind of handheld to get PSP emulation. And then, you know, then it's not like this little teeny little thing. So yeah, that was honestly a big reason that I wanted to get the PSP Go going, just so I could enjoy some PSP games at full speed. There we go. Full speed 30 FPS. Or close to it, whatever. It's not stuttering and dropping and going crazy like it does on the little emulation devices. Because this is not emulating, it's just running it. Heck yeah. Have not played this game since it was new. Played it on a PSP 2000. You know, it's just something about having this on the go, I guess. On the go! It is on the go! Oh. Anyway. Good stuff. And of course, PlayStation 1, that is a huge reason I wanted the PSP to begin with back in the day. So I could then just add all the classic PS1 games that I wanted to. Not only from the PlayStation Store, which I did buy a lot, but also just converting my own discs over to an e-boot, kind of PBP, whatever the heck, with PSX to PSP. And, you know, I had fun creating those, you know, because you could put your custom graphics and music that would play when you're selecting it in the cross-media bar menu thing. And I don't know, it was kind of enjoyable, even though a bit of a slow process to convert your PS1 games over to work on here. But I think the music might not be on this particular version. I didn't actually make it myself. So, yeah, I'll have to get my own disc and make my own e-boot. It's definitely the way to do it if you want to do it right. Die, gate. Yeah. Fighting Force definitely needs music. I mean, it's fine without, but come on now. Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling there is a little bit of a... Sure, there's like a custom back you could get to maybe provide just a little bit more room, but then we're just totally modding this thing even more than I wanted. I don't know. Maybe it would just make sense. I also want to do some other things too. Like I said, the battery, I would love to get this over to USB Type-C, and I have seen that there is a mod or two out there that lets you do that. And then, you know, not really too much else. I'm pretty happy with it otherwise. And yeah, the other thing I added on here, RetroArch, because yeah, other emulators. I remember installing like individual emulators back in the day, and we're talking like 2008 or 9 or whatever. But yeah, with RetroArch nowadays, it's just like you just put that on there, and dadgummit, there's a version of it for everything, I guess, and PSP included. This is something I've never actually tried on the PSP. Love using it on like everything else, so why not? Let's do I'm curious. Maybe it'll run Donkey Kong Country. I don't think it could. From what I remember, trying on another PSP like forever ago. But that was, yeah, a different emulator. Yeah, we're already getting some of that. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah. That is completely expected. However, I do remember playing quite a bit of like Game Boy Advance on my PSP, and played through like the the Crash Bandicoot side scrollers. Yeah, these played through each of those, and the Sonic side scrollers on a PSP. So yeah, let me go for one of those. Yeah, Sonic Advance 2. I seem to remember enjoying the most. Also, I would like to stretch that screen. I don't want to do bilinear, but I'm betting that that scale isn't going to be ideal. I don't know. Yeah, just getting some of the sort of scaling issues. I mean, you know, it's fine. Certainly spoiled, though, when it comes to like the Ambernic devices and other retro handhelds with higher resolution and better integer scaling filters, enough power to like make sure that it, you know, you don't get that kind of slightly off shimmer and kind of, I don't know, just slightly gross kind of scaling. I mean, there's obviously some options here. I bet if we did bilinear, it would look pretty decent. Well, I don't know why the sound went away, but yeah, you can see that definitely doesn't have that shimmer or weird scaling kind of artifacting anymore. But now it's slightly blurry, which again is fine, I guess, but not my preferred, you know. I like to just have a nice sharp nearest neighbor integer scale, either that or some good kind of filters or sub filters or whatever, you know, just to make sure that it I don't even know, who cares, it's fine. Become so spoiled and snobby with modern emulation and more powerful systems, that's for sure. Why did the sound turn off? I don't know. Let's get out of here. So yeah, this is awesome. I'm very happy to have this all set up now. Swap the battery out at some point, maybe come up with a back solution so that this isn't so stupid. Yeah, those screws are tight. It just, I don't know. Aging plastic and things being slightly weird. But yeah, that's the PSP Go. A little bit modded, a little bit upgraded and things. Yeah, I guess that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching.